Ten women's gymnastics season is building to a climax. Every step has meaning. Every routine is critical. The Big Ten Women's Gymnastics Championships are next. From Chrysler Arena on the campus of the University of Michigan, Fox Sports Net presents the Big Ten Women's Gymnastics Championships. Individual, all-around, and team titles are at stake this evening here in Ann Arbor. For the home team, the question is, will its dominance continue? Hello, everybody, and welcome to the University of Michigan campus. Along with former Wolverines and Big Ten champion in the all-around, Wendy Wilkinson, I'm Mike Lederman. Michigan has owned these championships, winning 8 out of the last 9 years. Question is, Wendy, with the competition stiffening up, how's Michigan going to do tonight?
Michigan is the favorite to win tonight. However, the field here quite possibly is the most outstanding field we've seen at this event in the past. Currently, 5 teams are ranked in the top 20 nationally. The difference this year is the depth. Last year's top performer this year will only be maybe 4th or 5th in the lineup.
Well, Michigan hasn't exactly stood still either. What a recruiting class they had. How about the captain of the U.S. 2000 Olympic team, Elise Ray? She's a freshman here in Ann Arbor.
Elise Ray has been a bright spot for the University of Michigan. She came to the University of Michigan in January and has lit up this arena. She quite possibly will become the best gymnast that the University of Michigan has ever had. Also, Katie Rowland. She's currently ranked #1 in the all-around in the country. She's here to prove that she deserves that #1 ranking.
Katie Rowland from Penn State. She is something special, but how about a freshman from the University of Iowa, Alexis Madej? Watch her.
That's right. Alexis Madej has been a surprise for the University of Iowa this year. She is ranked 3rd in the conference and beat Elise Ray in head-to-head competition earlier this year.
There's a look at Alexis Madej. Iowa's a good story. They're #2 or 3 in the conference. They were ranked as high as 9th in the country after being in the cellar in the Big Ten for many, many years. The big story, though, has to be Michigan. This is a team that knows how to win, wants to win, and I guess never gets tired of winning.
That's right. Michigan has the confidence to do well in this event. They are peaking at the right time, and they feel that they have what it takes to win tonight.
There's a look at the Wolverine squad again. Elise Ray, just a freshman, and there are the Penn State Nittany Lions. They have some ambitions tonight. We'll see if they can pull it off. As the Lions go for the chalk, we are ready to go to the first rotation. Penn State will be on the ball. Minnesota on the uneven bars. Michigan State on the balance beam. Ohio State will do the floor exercise. Iowa, Illinois, and Michigan will have byes in this first round. With Penn State getting on the vault for the first rotation, big changes in that event this year, Wendy.
That's right. The vault has a very different look this year, with the athletes only performing 1 vault instead of 2. This is the first year for the change. Coaches have voted for this, hoping that it will make more sense to the fans. Often the fans didn't understand the idea of a mulligan. So here we will see the athletes compete 1 vault, and this will count.
One and done. Here is sophomore Leslie Bear for the Nittany Lions.
The handspring front pike. She had to bend her knees a little bit to get the rotation around. A little bit of a disappointing start for Penn State, but she managed to stay on her feet.
Penn State second in this competition the last 2 years, looking to move up. And Leslie Bear, the first vaulter for the Nittany Lions.
Her vault was out of a 9.9, so because it wasn't out of a 10.0, the best score she can get on that vault would have been a 9.9.
Next up, as we go on the beam, Michigan State on the beam.
Nice straddle jump there.
Eileen Cohen.
She had a fall earlier in her routine, so she is going to try to regroup and finish off this routine strong. It's so difficult to be the lead-off performer, especially when you're starting on that event. Round up 1.5, couple steps on the landing.
Eileen Cohen, a sophomore from Wanto, Long Island, gets a hug from Kathy Klages, the veteran coach.
And that's too bad for Michigan State. Kathy was saying this is the most consistent team she's ever had.
Let's go to the bars now. Minnesota on the bars. Megan Skokut, one of the 2 sisters on the Minnesota Minnesota Golden Gophers. Skokut tied for 8th in this event a year ago, 14th 2 years ago. There's Megan. She is a senior from Carmel, Indiana. Leslie Bear's vault, by the way, a 9.625 as we look at Megan Skokut.
And Megan's sister, Mary, is also on this team, and I know they really enjoy having that camaraderie on the team. It's helped them both.
See the concentration as she's waiting for the judges to give her the high sign.
This is a difficult position for an athlete to be in. They've done their preparation. They're ready to go. They've given her the signal.
And here's Megan.
You can see her coach in there, Jim Stevenson. He's there for safety reasons. Nice giant pull right on top of the bar. Reverse hack, very well done. Straddle back a little bit short of the handstand. Back up to the high bar. Another giant pull. The double tuck dismount. Little hop on the landing. Good routine from Minnesota.
This is Gemma Cuff from Penn State with her vault. Gemma Cuff injured, a veteran competitor from the United Kingdom at Penn State.
That is a half-half front layout. That was excellent. She stuck the landing.
Gemma Cuff, 4th in this event a year ago, 6th 2 years ago. And they need a strong performance from her, even in a limited role, if the Nittany Lions are going to hold second place or even try to move up.
Well, that's certainly going to help them. With vault, one of the concerns that the coaches had is that the athletes weren't going to go for the stick. Often when you go for the stick, you've got a greater risk of the fall. And when you had a second vault to go, it was easier to be safe on the first one and go for the stick. But she really went for it, and it paid off.
Gemma Cuff happy with that as we're looking at the floor exercise. Ohio State's Amanda Allen, junior from Birmingham, Michigan. Twist. Very well done. The gymnasts try to pick some music along with their coaches that really suits their personality, and you can tell Amanda really has fun with this routine. Front handspring, front full, immediate punch front. That's one of the things the judges are looking for, is connecting skills right together, and she did a great job there. Gemma Cuff, a 9.85 on her vault for Penn State moments ago. And Megan Skokut, a 9.80 on her uneven bars routine from Minnesota.
Front handspring, front layout, front tuck. Double turn, immediate combination there. That's another thing the judges are looking for, are strong dance elements. Good routine for Ohio State.
Amanda Allen gets a pat from her coach, Larry Cox. Let's take a look at the vault. Let's go to Katie Rowland. High hopes for an all-around championship from this young lady.
Handspring pike front half. Step on the landing. That vault was worth a 10.0. She did it very well.
9.825 for Katie Rowland. On the beam, this is an all-arounder from Michigan State. Sophomore from Freeman, Ohio, Christy Linder.
Kathy Klages cannot say enough about this athlete. She is so happy to have her on our team. There's about handspring quarter turn there. She should have held the handstand for a little bit longer. The judges may or may not give her credit for that skill because she did not hold the handstand.
Christy Linder, when asked in the media guide, if I were not a gymnast, I would be, and she answered, a lot more rested.
Oh, interesting dismount there. Aerial front with a full off the side.
The sophomore, ranked 10th. And here is all-arounder Marianne Kelly from Minnesota on the uneven bars. Marianne Kelly, 3-time high school champ at Chicago.
Beautiful reverse hack there. She's going to be setting up for another release move. There is the Ginger. And you must low bar at least one time in this routine. And here we'll see the bar transition here back up to the high bar. Nice hit handstands, very clean. Giant full, double tuck dismount, small hop. Great routine.
Marianne Kelly, high hopes for an all-around, gets a hug from Coach Jim Stevenson. And there's the junior from suburban Chicago. Things moving very quickly as we go back to the beam. And this is Julie Devity, ranked 15th in the conference.
Again, Kathy Clay spoke to her team's consistency, and this, she would say, the balance beam is their best event. So they're really looking to start off with a good score on the balance beam and then build on it through the competition. Very difficult series there. Back handspring layout. That series is worth 3/10. She was right on. Switch leap strategy. Again, judges are looking for those leaps, and what they're looking for is amplitude, really showing the split position.
That is Christy Linder.
She is looking very confident up on the balance beam.
Kathy Klages, Big Ten Coach of the Year 5 years ago, really trying to come up with more athletes, better athletes, and there's one, Christy Linder.
That was a really great routine for Christy. She had a very difficult dismount combination into a double full.
And Christy, 15th in this event a year ago, looking to move up in 2001. She gets a hug from Kathy and waits for the score. This Michigan State team, according to the coach, not the most talented she's had, but very consistent.
That's right. She really spoke to this team's heart. She really feels that they work together as a team and put in 100% every day in the gym and on the competition floor.
Here is Katie Christensen, a junior for Minnesota, on the bars. Actually, that looks like Skokut, right? That's Mary Skokut on the bars.
That's right. Back up to the high bar here. That is an uprise to handstand. Beautiful handstand position there.
Mary Skokut, freshman sister of Megan, who competed earlier, and a little short on the landing.
Little short. That was an E element. That is the most difficult dismount that you can do. E is the highest level of difficulty. She had a step on the landing, but the judges will keep in mind the amount of difficulty.
Christy Linder, a 9.725 on the balance beam for Michigan State. Now back to the floor. This is Jill Tucker, a junior for the Buckeyes from Chagrin Falls, Ohio. Finished 7th in this event a year ago. Marianne Kelly, a 9.8 for her routine on the uneven bars.
Then handspring front layout into a brownie. That is a very difficult pass, especially because she connected the moves right together. The routines actually start from a 9.5, and then the athletes have a chance to make up 5/10 for bonus, either in extremely difficult moves or in those special connections in their dance, and even some easier moves acrobatically.
Well, for Jill Tucker, a 9.90 for Tucker. Meanwhile, over on the uneven bars, Mary Skokut, the freshman, with a 9.825. And there you see over in Michigan State, Jane McIntosh, the junior. High hopes for her. McIntosh from Concord, Michigan, ranked 5th in the Big Ten on this event and 17th in the country.
She has been just absolutely great for Michigan State this year. She's been competing with a broken finger and also has a hurt shoulder. is an anchor spot for Michigan State, which is a tribute to the level of gymnastics that Kathy Klages feels that she's capable of.
McIntosh having a problem on the beam.
Having a little problem, but she's managed to stay on the beam, and that's really the most important in this event.
Holds the Spartan school record in this event.
Switch side. Looks like she's gotten her confidence back here a little bit. Oh dear.
Coach Klages.
They had a fall earlier in the rotation, so she's going to really try to finish up with a strong performance because there is still a good chance that this score will count towards the team score. They put up 6 girls. The top 5 scores will count.
Very disappointing for Jane McIntosh.
Yes. There's her dismantling, her fold. Nice duck landing. She finished up strong. Again, that's a disappointing routine for Jane McIntosh.
You can see she's had a 9.95. She won't get that tonight, but obviously they've got to get some kind of scoring from her if they're going to do anything. Now here, all-around contender Lindsay Vagadis having a great time out there on the floor exercise for Ohio State.
She is so powerful. Watch this first tumbling pass. Triple full, gets the twist all the way around. Very well done. That is an E element. She has really come into her own this year as a senior, having just an outstanding year. Great leap combination there. They're having a little fun.
Lindsay's a finalist for the American Award, the gymnast equivalent of the Heisman Trophy. And it's a very prestigious award. She's one of 3 Big Ten gymnasts out of 6 gymnasts around the country who are the finalists.
It is. It's a very prestigious award, and Lindsay really has a good shot at the award. She's had just a tremendous senior campaign. Front full, immediate front tuck. She hit that routine.
Lindsay Vagadis finishing up on the balance beam. Jane McIntosh a 9.00. Vagadis 9.925. That's rotation 1. We'll be back. Word on Fox Sports Net. Join host Jim Rome as he interviews the biggest names in sports and asks what the folks want to know. The Last Word with Jim Rome, weeknights, 11:30 on Fox Sports Net. Here on Fox Sports Net, we are at Chrysler Arena on the campus of the University of Michigan with Wendy Wilkerson. I'm Mike Lederman as we're zeroing in on the University of Iowa Hawkeyes, Stephanie Benson.
Oh. That was a half-half front tuck, a palm of the wind, and looks like she might have hurt her knee there.
Getting help as she goes off with a noticeable limp. Let's check out the second rotation. Iowa on the vault, Illinois on the uneven bars, Minnesota on the balance beam, Michigan on the floor. Meanwhile, Ohio State, Penn State, Michigan State all have byes for this second rotation. And there is Alexis Madej, a freshman who has had a wonderful season and has done so much to turn Iowa's fortunes around. She is from Frederick, Maryland. She is waiting for her vault, and what a great outfit the Hawkeyes have.
It is a great outfit. It's really difficult to be the next performer up after the person before you made a mistake. The next 5 vaults will count for the University of Iowa because of that fall with the first girl, so it really puts a lot of pressure on these remaining competitors.
Madej's vault here.
Half-half layout, front layout. That was an outstanding vault. She nailed the landing.
Nicely done by Alexis Madej, who in the all-around earlier this season defeated Olympian Elise Ray. She talks about it.
Yes, she does. We're going to see a...
For me, it felt great. I've known Elise for years. It was a big confidence booster for me, but not only for me and for the team. It really proved to the team just how good we are and how good we can be, knowing that we just beat one of the top girls in the country, in the world, basically. But I think if we keep reminding ourselves that we were already that close to Michigan once this year, that anything could happen tonight.
We'll be seeing a lot more of that young woman, Alexis Madej, waiting for her score, but she felt good about it. A career-high 9.90.
She's going to be pretty close to that score tonight.
Stephanie Benson, a 9.125. Meanwhile, on the floor, this is Janessa Greco, sophomore from Mahopac in New York for the University of Michigan.
Janessa was the freshman of the year last year, and you'll see on this event why she earned that honor. Nice double pike.
Alexis Madej's score on the vault, by the way, 9.925.
That was an excellent score for a great vault. Nice combination tumbling there. Really getting into this routine, and that really helps the athlete as they prepare for that last tumbling pass. Janessa's feeling very tired right now, but hopefully the crowd will help her forget about that.
Janessa Greco finished second a year ago in this event.
Whip, immediate double full. Excellent routine for Janessa.
Michigan sophomore Janessa Greco. Here, Corinne Cooper of Iowa. Good vault.
They're really fighting for those landings. That is so impressive to see, fighting for every single tenth. And every tenth is going to be what makes the difference in a competition of this caliber.
Greco, a three-year competitor on the vault, trying to break into the top five. There's a good look at the University of Illinois coach. Meanwhile, Callie Riles of Michigan, she's on the floor. Callie Riles, a freshman from Elyria, Ohio.
2.5 punch front. She is a real crowd favorite on this event. Double pike.
Cooper's vault for Iowa, a 9.80. Janessa Greco on the floor for Michigan, 9.925.
Up to a great start. It's nice to see the gymnasts show different styles of dance. We saw Callie be really energetic and fun in the beginning, and now she's being more expressive. Now she's going to go into a little salsa. Judges like to see that variety. A switch shot side lead into Shishinova. Round off whip, double full. That's the same pass that Janessa Greco finished with.
Callie Riles from the University of Michigan, third place a year ago, trying to improve on that. Coach Beverly Plocky giving her high fives, high tens from the rest of the Wolverines. Michigan extremely strong on the floor. Now we go back to Iowa on the vault. This is Stephanie Gran, freshman from Wauconda, Illinois.
Stephanie has scored a 10.0 on this event this year, so she's going to see if she can match that score here tonight. half front layout. Excellent. Wow. Iowa did dynamic on this event. They're going to have a big team score.
Boy, the Hawkeyes are going nuts over this. They love what they saw from Stephanie Gran, who's the anchor for Iowa on the vault, and a good series for the Hawkeyes. We'll show it to you again. Stephanie Gran, the freshman. Watch this.
This vault is called the Phelps. It's worth a 10.0. Half on, half great block from the horse, great form, stuck landing. That's how that vault's supposed to be done.
Callie Riles, meanwhile, is the Hawkeyes cheer from Michigan on the floor, 9.875. Back to the floor we go. This is Karina Senior, one of many Canadians competing.
Nice high double pike. Coach Bev Flocky really feels that the floor exercise is their strongest event this year.
Karina from Markham, Ontario. Stephanie Gran with a 9.95, unofficially the leader in the vault. 9.95.
I can't stress enough how great it is to be in your home gym in front of your home crowd.
Well, Karina Senior has been around, as her name implies, for all 4 years and has had so many people in front of her. This is the first year she's really getting a chance to show her stuff, and she's doing it.
She certainly is. She's had some outstanding competitions this year and looks on track to have another one tonight. What an outstanding routine for Karina.
Think she's happy?
Absolutely.
And there's the Michigan contingent, and we wait for the scores. Beverly Flocky in her 12th year says it never gets easy. And she says with so many titles, she's had 9. Never gets boring.
Absolutely not. One of the toughest things was to come up with a floor lineup because they have so many outstanding competitors.
Moments ago on the vault, Giselle Bonaforte, the 1998 Freshman of the Year for Iowa.
Handspring double full. She managed to get both twists around. That vault is also worth a 10.0. Great job for Giselle.
Now, here is another senior from Michigan on the floor, Bridget Knavely.
Her facial expressions are so expressive in this floor routine.
Veteran performer Bridget Knavely.
That is a full in back out. Oh, you saw the judge raise the flag. That is a 1-10 deduction for stepping out of bounds. That was a new element for her this year. Full in back out, the element. Perfect second tumbling pass.
Knavely third a year ago, and she won this event when she was a freshman, beat her sister Mindy, who finished third. Mindy, a gymnast for the University of Minnesota. And we remember her mom and dad came with their faces painted half blue.
That's right, and Mindy's here tonight with the University of Minnesota as one of their assistant coaches.
Half maize and blue and half maroon and gold. It was a riot. I don't think the security wanted to let mom and dad in.
I don't think so either.
Karina Senior, an outstanding 9.95 for her floor routine.
Too bad for Bridget about stepping out of bounds. She did score a 10.0 on this last weekend. And with the exception of that step out of bounds, I didn't see a whole lot wrong with this routine.
Bridget Knavely, senior for the University of Michigan, finished third a year ago, second 2 years ago, and as we mentioned, as a freshman, she won it as part of a great all-around effort for her that freshman year. Lisa Haas, the trainer, giving her a high five. Here's Phaedra Dixon from the University of Illinois. Now, this is a great story. Phaedra from suburban Chicago on a bars routine. She competed 5 months this past fall. She tore her Achilles, and she's back competing. Bob Starkell gives her the big hug, and boy, what a competitor. 5 months after she ripped her Achilles, she's competing again.
Not only is she competing, but she's doing an outstanding job. That was a great routine for Phaedra.
9.825 for Phaedra Dixon, and here is our first look at Elise Ray, the Olympian turned collegian.
Triple full all the way around. slight step on the landing.
She's ranked first in the conference, 13th in the country. And when you talk about Elise Ray, as we see Bridget Knebly with a 9.85. She won't be happy with that. But let's watch Elise.
She's a beautiful dancer. Whip hack to a double full into a Shushinova.
Elise Ray just began school this past semester in January. She came back from Sydney, tried to get some rest. It had been extremely hectic, obviously, for her. Jumped right into the college environment. They've been bringing her along slowly. Just in time to peak here at the regionals, and then at the University of Georgia, Michigan hopes the nationals.
That was an absolutely fantastic routine for Elise.
Elise Ray, big hug, high five, high 10 from the coach. And earlier we talked with Elise about the difference between competing in the Olympics and on the collegiate level.
Just about everything is different between what I was doing in here, but different in a very good way. It's much more about team now, which takes a lot of pressure off yourself, which is great. I've been competing like every weekend here in college, which I never did before. I usually competed 5 or 6 meets tops a year in the elite program, but here it's every weekend, so that took a little getting used to it. Sometimes you get a little tired, but as I said before, with your team, they help you keep going.
We'll be keeping an eye on Elise Ray.
The one thing that Coach Bev Plocky said is that even though she wasn't in the gym in the fall training with her team, the second day she was in the gym in January, everybody felt like she had been there since September. Very mature young woman and really enjoys the team aspect of college gymnastics.
And it was very important. And Beverly Plocky said, well, you have somebody with that kind of a reputation. Do you want to take that kind of a chance? And Beverly said there was never an issue. Once I met Elise Ray, she is humble, she is a team-oriented person, and she knows what she has to do and fits right in. And she's fitting right in right here as they wait for her scores anxiously. Meanwhile, we'll go to the beam, and Marianne Kelly from Minnesota again with her routine for Minnesota as she bids for the all-around championship. Meanwhile, Elise Ray on the floor exercise 9.950. Well, that's a way to open up.
It certainly is.
Meanwhile, Marianne Kelly, top 10 a year ago, having problems, but holds on.
Manages to hang on. And that's a tribute to her experience. A lot of less experienced gymnasts would have fallen off the apparatus there and taken the full 5/10 deduction. Instead, we'll probably see about a 2 to 2.5 deduction for that error. Punch front on the balance beam. Well done. Gainer layout into immediate jump. That is a D element into an immediate jump, so she will not only get a 10th for the D, but also a 10th for the connection. Nice leaps there. Double full dismount. Good routine.
Marianne Kelly from the University of Minnesota, a 9.60. We'll be back. Rotation number 3 coming up. Let's take a look at the standings. And again, Minnesota having been through 2 rotations. The other teams just 1. Michigan, Ohio State, Penn State, and Iowa all with 49 or better. Wendy, good starts for those teams.
That's an absolutely great start for these teams. All 4 of those teams are in contention.
Minnesota, again, a little substandard for them, averaging a little less than a 48.6. Meanwhile, the third rotation finds Ohio State over at the vault. Penn State on the uneven bars. Illinois goes to the balance beam. Michigan State moves to the floor. And moving to the sidelines, Michigan, Iowa, and Minnesota. This is Jill Tucker for Ohio State, the Buckeye on the vault.
Half front pike. A little step on the landing, but she was very explosive. It was a good vault.
Tucker ranked second in the conference in the vault, 11th nationally, tied for 9th in this event a year ago. And there's a bunch of Buckeyes.
Definitely, and vault would have to be one of Ohio State's strongest events. Jill Tucker and Lindsay Vagatus have both been doing extremely well on this event.
Lindsay Trainum, as we move to the floor from Briarcliff, New York, for Michigan State, finishing up her routine. And here we go to the bars. The Nittany Lions on the bar. Sophomore Katie McAvoy, ranked 11th in the country, competed in this event a year ago. And Penn State needs some scoring from her, as well as from Katie Rowland and Maria Taylor, if they're going to make a move. And obviously that's not the beam. This will be the uneven bars. Jill Tucker, a 9.85 on her vault for Ohio State.
It's a good score for Ohio State. That's going to help them in their team overall score.
Here comes McAvoy on the uneven bars.
Judges are looking for nice hit handstand. She finished the giant full on top of the bars. Immediate reverse hex. Right on.
Coach Steve Shepard, you see spotting there. Shepard, an outstanding gymnast at Southern Illinois, Carbondale, in the mid-70s.
A little bit short on the handstand. Nice giant half. Immediate double tuck. A little step. That dismount is so hard to stick perfectly because it is a blind landing, and she managed to do it very well.
Decent job and more for Katie McAvoy in the bars for Penn State. Here is Lindsay Vagatus again making her bid for the all-around. She has won this event 2 of the last 3 years, finished second last year.
Half front pike.
Not happy.
She hops up on the landing, but the vault, there were really no errors in the air. She had great form, good block, very explosive. Unfortunately, she didn't get the stick.
I'm sorry, Wendy, 9.85, far below what she wants to do. Not the way she wants to go out for Lindsay Vagatus. Julie Devity here for Michigan State, sophomore. Floor exercise.
And a strong finish.
Meanwhile, for Katie McAvoy, 9.85 for her. And Julie Devity, the number 3 vaulter, 3 person in the floor exercise. Lindsay Trainum, whom we just saw before, 9.650 on her floor exercise. Now looking over at the beam, Karen Hawley had a very rough time earlier for Illinois over on the bars.
She did. She took a little bit of a scary fall. She seems to be okay. We're going to see the type of competitor she is here. She's really going to look to block that out of her mind and do a solid performance right here at the University of Illinois.
Karen Hawley, a sophomore from Colorado. Illinois, a program that is trying to turn itself around. Bob Starkell, in his second year as head coach, was the assistant for half a dozen years.
And she fell. Illinois has been having some problems on this event. This is at least the second or third girl who has fallen. So disappointing for Illinois, but she's going to want to finish this routine strongly. Again, the balance beam is the event that makes or break a team at championship time. It's 4 inches wide. And often when you're competing under this kind of pressure, it's just about half that size.
Julie Devity's floor exercise score for Michigan State, 9.725. Here is Karen Hawley trying to finish out after a fall.
Required full turn. That was a sheet jump. That is actually an E element because of the fact that the gymnast has to lose sight of the balance beam. Gainer full off the side, and she fought for that landing. She'll be back next year and be looking to improve on that routine.
Moments ago, Nikki Bongiovanni from Penn State on the uneven bars.
Nikki was the 1999 freshman of the year, and she's been really building on that freshman campaign of 2 years ago. Nice shoot over to handstand. Uprise, great handstand position. Good speed going into her dismount, double layout, dismount, perfect landing. That is an E dismount. It is so difficult. Coach Steve Shepard is excited with that one.
9.875 for Nikki Bongiovanni. Thought it might be higher. Meanwhile, Bob Starkel is talking to Gina Weichman, and Gina's getting ready for her beam routine. And Gina won this event 2 years ago when she was a sophomore, finished out of the top 10 a year ago, and now really wants it. And obviously the key is to stay loose as well as stay committed. So here is Gina Weichman, senior from Clearwater, Florida, on the balance beam, ranked 10th in the conference.
And this is exactly when you want your senior leadership. They've had a few breaks, and they're really going to look to Gina to bring it home for Illinois here.
Hawley on the beam, 9.325. We showed you her routine moments ago with the fall.
The handstand layout, small wobble, won't be a big deduction. Turn. Nice switch lead. To a straddle half turn. Gina's looking very confident up there, very comfortable. Another nice leap. Wolf jump, back handspring. It's required gym acro combination. Switch side.
Just hold it on.
She sure did. She's really fighting up there, doing a good job. Layout full, good landing. They're going to be really pleased with that routine. Gina did a great job.
A lot of sighs of relief as well as congratulations on the Illinois side. The Illini have had more than their share of tough break. And here on the bars, once again, Katie Rowland. We told you the #1 ranked all-arounder. On the bars, she's ranked 5th and in the top 30 nationally, 5th in the conference.
Nice high ginger there. Beautiful form. Shoot over to handstand. You're allowed to put your feet on the bar one time. If you do it a second time, they will take a half-tenth deduction. Double pike. Excellent landing. Penn State's doing an outstanding job on the uneven bars.
Well, the scores are not high. Katie Rowland, 9.850.
It's a little bit lower than I would have expected.
And here on the beam, Gina Weichman, whom we saw moments ago, with a 9.70. And here is Jana Gallagher from Clearwater, Florida for Illinois.
Jana is ranked #6 in the country on this event. The handspring layout right on.
Well, I need big points from her. Ranked 1 in the conference, too.
She almost looks like she's on a sidewalk up there. Very, very confident. Nice straddle jump. Straddle jump. The handspring quarter turn, then with the half. Very difficult element. a full twisting wolf jump. Very, very difficult. Gainer full stock landing. That is going to be one of our top routines tonight. She was right on. Excellent job.
Good reason for the Illini to cheer, even though they may be wardrobe challenged to some extent over there in the stands. Meanwhile, back on the bars, Penn State trying to get some points out of Maria Taylor. Taylor from Georgia, third in the conference, 14 ranked nationally.
Her release moves are so high. Her form is so pretty.
Penn State at another disadvantage here because Gemma Cuff, who's one of, if not their top bars performer, had shoulder problems. Literally, Gemma's had a problem with the rotator cuff, and she's out of this event. Nice job there by Maria Taylor of Penn State for the Lady Lions. Oh, there I did it, for the Nittany Lions.
Didn't see a whole lot wrong with that routine. What a great event for Penn State.
The score, 9.875 for Maria Taylor. And again, the scores on the bars stay low. Here is Jane McIntosh of Michigan State on the floor.
Nice sky-high double back. You see the mat there in the corner. There is no deduction for that mat, as long as they mark it so the judges can see where the out-of-bounds mark would be.
Janet Gallagher for Illinois on the beam. Her score 9.825. I know some of the judges, some of the coaches, when we were talking to them, were concerned over the scoring inflation that seems to be hitting the sport on the collegiate level outside the conference. And you mentioned some of the schools are a little bobble there by Jane. Some of the scores are unusually high for these Big Ten schools when they go on the road and non-conference opponents, which is most unusual, and that might tell you something.
That's right. It's so difficult to compare two teams who don't meet head-on. Scoring, it's just difficult to compare when you've got somebody out on the West Coast, somebody out on the East Coast. It's such a subjective sport. Really, until everybody's in the same arena, you can't really get a feel of where you stand. So judges do the best they can with the rules, and I think it all shakes out in the end. Little problem with the landing on that double full there. Nice triple turn.
And Jane McIntosh completes her routine at 9.50. Reminder, the broadcast rights to tonight's event have been granted to Fox Sports Chicago by the Big Ten Conference. Any rebroadcast or reproduction of this event without the express written consent of the Big Ten and Fox Sports Chicago is prohibited. Wendy Wilkinson, I'm Mike Liederman, and here we are at the Big Ten Women's Gymnastics Championships. After 3 rotations, Penn State having a fine meet. They did extremely well on the bars, Wendy.
They certainly did. They had a great first 2 events, and if they can hit their beam routine, they are going to be tough to beat. Ohio State also looking fantastic. Michigan and Iowa and Minnesota still in this competition.
Michigan and Iowa, of course, only 1 rotation each. Now we will check rotation number 4. Michigan on the vault, Iowa the bars, Penn State the beam, and Minnesota the floor exercise. Michigan State, Ohio State, and the Illini sit out in this, the 4th of 7 rotations. Michigan on the vault, where they have had a lot of success and also a lot of problems, depending on your year. Here's Elise Ray. After that wonderful floor exercise, Elise Ray not supposedly the best of Michigan's vaulters.
We're expecting her to do a Yurchenko layout full. The vault difficulty is valued at a 9.9, so even if she does this perfectly, the best she'll be able to score is a 9.9. The one thing that's different in vault this year, if you do a different vault, you actually are supposed to tell the judges what you're going to do. If you do a different vault than what you call, you will not get a deduction. In the past, you got a 5/10 deduction. So something's a little bit off, she can change her mind and do a slightly different vault. Yurchenko layout full. Great vault. She did have a step on the landing, but in the air, she showed good form, good block, good distance.
Elise Ray. There she is. And we'll show it to you one more time.
Elise is actually capable of doing even a more difficult vault. They're just trying to bring her around slowly still. There's the block, there's the good form step on the landing.
And we'll wait for the score from Elise Ray from Maryland. Minnesota is on the floor. This is Courtney Norman, a junior from Minneapolis. Top 20 in the conference on this event. Our first look at Courtney Norman.
There's a front salto to a double back. Nice landing. That is one of the requirements. You must do a tumbling pass with 2 different saltos in the same pass. So she gets that requirement out of the way right at the beginning. Nice high, clean double pike. Landing is right on. Minnesota is known for doing extremely clean gymnastics. You won't see very many form breaks. In the last 2 years, they've really tried to increase their difficulty, which is perhaps why they've experienced a little bit of inconsistency this year, and they're hoping that they are peaking at the right time. With an excellent floor team going so far, she's going to be looking for a great landing on this final tumbling pass.
Elise Ray, by the way, 9.825 on her vault for Michigan.
That was a front handspring, fly swing, front full. I couldn't tell if her foot crossed the line. We'll have to see if the judges take a 10th deduction for stepping out of bounds. A very nice routine for Courtney.
Minnesota's Courtney Norman. Junior from Minneapolis, and there you see the Minnesota variation on the old sweatsuit. Boy, have they taken it to a new level. Look at those things. Boy, they're designed by Jim and Meg Stevenson, Jim is an artist, and he is showing some art. And speaking of art, Chrissy Michaud.
Now, Chrissy had some problems with this vault in the warm-up. She is a dynamic vaulter.
Won it 2 years ago.
Sukahara layout vault.
Whoa!
Perfect. You can forget about that poor warm-up that she had.
10.0 value, and she came very, very close. Chrissy Michaud, 4th year in it. She has never finished worse than 3rd her freshman and junior years, and she tied with Lindsay Vagadis 2 years ago to win this event.
We're going to be looking for a big, big score. That was just outstanding.
Talk about sticking a landing. She did that. Chrissy Michaud back on the floor. Megan Bukins from Minnesota.
Front through to double back. Very nice landing.
Bukins has scored high in this event. Both years before. Freshman year she finished 2nd. Last year she finished 3rd.
Minnesota has a very interesting choreography, something that they really pay a lot of attention to.
Well, we were saying earlier about Jim and Meg Stevenson, who are obviously husband and wife and co-coaches of this team for 6 seasons, and Jim for a few years by himself before that. When you ask Jim about the division of labor, he says simply, she does the work.
They're a great coaching team. They really complement each other.
Well, Meg does much of the choreography and the dance routines on the floor exercise. Jim, as you saw, more involved with the tumbling and the ball. And is also an artist and sculptor. And we have seen much of Jim's work at these broadcasts when we came from Minnesota with a broadcast a few years ago.
That's right. He also designed their media guide cover this year, which he did just a great job with. Good routine for Megan. She had a small step on the front salto there at the end of her routine, but it will be a very small deduction.
Meanwhile, the score from Chrissy Michaud of Michigan, 9.95. And here on the bars, we have McDade.
Giant full into an immediate reverse hecht. She's working very well on the uneven bars. Nice hit handstand. That's something the judges really, really are stressing this year.
Alexis Madej.
That's a front jive with reverse grip. Stuck landing.
Alexis Madej, her score just in 9.925 for the freshman from Iowa. Courtney Norman, a 9.825 for her floor exercise from Minnesota. Here's her teammate, sophomore Jenny Alf. meanwhile, who had preceded Alf on the floor exercise, 9.825. So the Gophers doing well here on this event.
They're doing very well. This competition is so close. It's going to come down to a little step on the landing, a slight bend knee. All of these teams are doing just a great job.
I have to ask you, Wendy, you think you can get one of those robes at the Gophers bookstore?
I don't think so. I think that they would only be for the team members, but we could talk to Jim and Megan about that.
I think our producer, director Bart Fox, would probably want one of these. Our producer Bart Fox, our director Jim Corno Jr. Let's give them both one, okay?
I think that sounds
And we'll
good.
keep our jobs. What?
Fly spring front full. Nice amplitude on that switch sweep. Nice strong finish. Minnesota is doing just a great job on this event.
Sophomore Jenny Alf of the Golden Gophers. And here's Giselle Bonaforte on the bars for Iowa.
She has such an interesting bar routine.
Defending champion on this event.
Ooh, a little bit close to the bar, but she manages to keep going. Nice uprise to handstand.
Her coach Mike Lorenzen spotting.
Good dismount.
Giselle Bonaforte surrounded by her teammates and her coach. 9.825, and there's a good look at Marianne Kelly.
Marianne Kelly really provides a lot of leadership for the University of Minnesota. She is a Gymnast of the Year nominee and is very deserving of that recognition.
Marianne Kelly came into Minnesota with a very big reputation. Had a rocky start. She really had a lot of adjusting to do to college, as well as collegiate competition. And she has come a long way.
She certainly has. She's coming to her own this year. Currently has a school record in the all-around. Layout tight. Great landing.
Jenny Alf, her teammate, a 9.825. As we mentioned, Marianne in suburban Chicago, a three-time state champion at Friend High School, where we have spent many a fun afternoon and evening.
Expressing herself in her dance.
Of course, these teams also vying for placement in the regionals.
That's right. You really want to be in the top 18 when it comes time to see for regionals, which will be this weekend. And that'll really give you a better chance to make it into nationals, which will be 12 teams that will make it.
And that will take place at the University of Georgia. They will. The Nationals will. Marianne Kelly with a nice, clean routine.
Very good routine for Marianne.
This is Rochelle Simpson of Penn State.
This really is going to be the make-or-break event for Penn State. They're off to an outstanding start. They finish on the floor exercise, which is a great event for them. If they can stay on the beam.
Simpson, one of many Canadians on the Penn State team. What's that all about, Wendy?
One of their former coaches was actually a gymnast at the University of Toronto, Tracy Rosenfeld, and really Penn State has since been recruiting from Canada. A lot of people feel that the Canadians have been untapped, and we're really seeing that across the nation. A lot of teams sporting one or two or even three Canadians on their rosters.
And of course, I say that with all due respect, as my partner herself, yeah, hey there, is from where?
Mississauga, Ontario.
Mississauga, Ontario. And it's worked with a couple of gymnasts here from Mississauga, Ontario.
That's right.
Marianne Kelly, a 9.925. Fine score for Marianne, and Minnesota's doing well.
Very good score.
On the floor.
Great lead.
And Simpson having a good routine here.
freshman, she's showing unbelievable poise up on that apparatus. Round off double full. Really fought for that landing, had to take a step. Great routine.
Rochelle Simpson, 9.75 for her. Fox Sports coverage of the Big Ten Conference Championships continues this spring. We'll have softball for you Monday, May 14th, 7:30 in the evening, and track and field Tuesday, May 22nd, also 7:30 p.m. Check your local listings for air times outside Chicago. Here, we're in Michigan. And on the beam, Penn State's Maria Taylor.
Her handspring layout, back handspring, right on.
Taylor's 6th ranked in the conference.
She's the anchor up there, and that's really, Steve Shepard really has confidence in this athlete, and that's why she is in this last position up on the beam.
Again, Gemma Cuff, one of their strongest gymnasts, a little bobble there, not able to compete because of injuries. She was scratched from this event literally at the last moment.
And that's what's great about collegiate gymnastics. It really is a team event, and if somebody goes out, somebody's ready to step in, make up the difference, and Penn State's been doing a great job of that here on the balance beam. You see her down low on the beam. That is a requirement. Looks like she's getting set for her dismount. Cartwheel, gainer full, good landing.
Nice job, Maria Taylor. 5th a year ago. 9.775 her score. We're through 4 rotations. Back after this. Well, you're looking at Chrysler Arena here in Ann Arbor on the campus of the University of Michigan, where the Big Ten Women's Gymnastics Championships continue. The home team, as we mentioned, favored, but it's a dogfight right now. Meanwhile, here is Lindsay Vagadis from Ohio State, a 2-time Gymnast of the Week here. And
just an outstanding competitor. She really is intense, as intense in the gym as she is on the competition floor.
Well, she talks about the improved competition in the Big Ten. She's part of that.
It's definitely a lot harder. I was watching practices, looking around a little bit yesterday, and I noticed that the talent is just shooting up every year. You see more and more gymnasts who are in here. We even have Olympians in our, region this year. So it's going to be a tough one, but hopefully everyone, just have safe competition and do their best.
There's Lindsay in competition for the all-around championship again. Watching intently as we go into rotation number 5. And here are the standings through 4 rotations. Again, not everyone has been involved in all the events, but or as many rotations. Penn State, Minnesota, watch Michigan, of course, and Ohio State is remarkably strong.
They really are. Those top 5 teams that we're looking at are still in this competition. It's what we predicted at the beginning, and they've all come here to compete, and they're fighting for every 10th, and they're still trying to end up on top.
The 5th rotation now. Michigan State moves to the vault. Ohio State on the uneven bars. Iowa on the beam. Illinois the floor exercise, and having byes in Minnesota, Michigan, and Penn State. Crowd is into the music as you're looking at Jane McIntosh getting set for her vaults.
We're expecting Jane to do a Yurchenko half-off tuck front. If that's the vault she does, it will be worth a 9.8. Half front. Problem on the landing, but she managed to not put her hands down, so it won't be the full 5/10 deduction. Again, in the past when you had 2 vaults, you could really go back and really concentrate on nailing that landing. So perhaps a disadvantage for Jane McIntosh that this year there's not a second vault.
Jane very upset. Now we go on the bars. This is Sarah Spring, our first look at Sarah. Another one of the talented underclassmen here in the Big Ten from Ohio State. Sophomore from Burt, Virginia. Finished top 15 as a freshman on this event a year ago.
Pike to Jaeger, that is more difficult than doing it in the straddle position. That is an E element. Again, an E element is the most difficult that you can do. Back up to the high bar. Nice hit handstand. Toe on. Sticks the landing again. That is so hard to stick because of the forward landing, and she couldn't have done it any better.
A hug from Coach Larry Cox and from teammates.
This has been great to see. Ohio State has typically been inconsistent in this championship. They're doing a great event.
Well, Larry Cox had a string of championships in the mid-'80s as we watch the dismount here from McIntosh. Meanwhile, a 9.525. There's Larry Cox. The 80s were his decade, as the 90s were Michigan's. And they're battling again to try to get back, are the Buckeyes. Iowa, Brandy Killian. And Iowa's got some fine freshmen, too. Alexis Madej is one. Brandy Killian's another from Lansing, Michigan. And how'd she get away from the Spartans?
She looks relaxed and ready as she gets ready to mount the beam here.
Sarah Spring score, 9.875 on the uneven bars.
The canceling way out by canceling was a very difficult combination, and Brandy really made it look easy. Nice straddle jump, slight bobble there. Switch side. Oh. That's a 5/10 deduction. She has 30 seconds to get back on the balance beam.
She was going well, and that's really a devastating blow for her.
It really is. It's a 5/10 deduction, but again, that's why you have 6 competitors. If the other 5 can turn in solid performances, they can throw this score out and still be in contention for this championship. A little bit hesitant now. And off full. Good finish. We're going to see if they cannot count that routine and get some higher scores from the remaining competitors.
Well, you know, she's not happy about that. Lori Ruane on the ball. Senior from Granger, Indiana.
Handspring, double full. We'll see very few athletes doing that. She did manage to get the twist around. This ball goes out of a 10.0, but had a small problem on the landing.
Over to Lindsay Vagatus on the uneven bars for Ohio State. This is not Lindsay's best event, but she still is ranked 9th in the conference here, and obviously needs a good performance, not just for the team, but for her all-around hopes.
That's right. Front giant there. Double front. Oh. Too bad. Again, that difficult is so difficult because you cannot see the floor. Most of the backward dismounts, you have a chance to spot the landing.
Let's go to Karen Hawley on the floor for Illinois. As Lindsay Vagatus finishes her routine. Karen, the sophomore from Lafayette, Colorado.
This is the music from Reality Bites.
Lindsay Vagatus finished her routine, but it cost her dearly, a 9.325.
Double full, good landing. You see your teammates having fun in the background, cheering her on. Nice routine.
Sophomore Karen Hawley from the University of Illinois.
Bob Starkel really likes the camaraderie on this team. They're a very close-knit team, and they really work hard and encourage each other on, not only on the competition floor, but in practice as well.
He's very happy about his recruiting class. He's going to lose 5 seniors, and he said we may be a little thin next year, but in 2 years, he said, look out. And we certainly hope for Bob and the Illini that works. Mary Beth Durr.
This is a key routine for Ohio State. They had the call from Lindsey Bagadas. If we can have a solid performance here, we could throw Lindsey's score out, and again, Ohio State can stay in contention for the championship. Very critical routine.
Mary Beth from Boston Heights, Ohio, 5th 2 years ago, slipped literally to 34th last year, currently ranked 4th in the conference, top 25 in the nation. Mary Beth Durr.
2 giant pulls in a row, good combination. Shoot over to handstand. A little bit short on that handstand on the bar. Double twisting layout. That's an E element. She did very well. She did have a step. You didn't see the spectacular release move in that bar routine. However, she made up with a great dismount. We'll see what the judges do with her score.
Karen Hawley's routine at 9.725. Here is Alexis Madej on the beam for Iowa. I think she's getting a little help over there.
Yeah, she is. Handspring, back handspring, layout. A slight form break in her knees, but was right on and did not have a wobble.
Again, you just marvel at the way these athletes can blot out all the chaos going on around them, both from the stands and from the other competitors on different apparatus, and just keep their tunnel vision for this.
It really is amazing. She's probably totally unaware of the audience so close to her. Nice switch leap. Excellent split position there. Round off double full. Fights that landing. Little hop. Outstanding routine. Iowa has been so fun to watch.
Alexis Madej. 9.825 for Madej. Here is Lisa Pellegrinetti on the floor, a senior from Palatine, Illinois, for the University of Illinois.
Illinois is a team that's in jeopardy of not making regional, so this very well could be her last floor team of her collegiate career, and that's something that's really special for her. She's going to make it a memorable one. Nice high double back.
Mary Beth Durr on the bars for Ohio State, an excellent 9.90.
That's what Ohio State was looking for from their anchor on the bars. That's really going to help their team score.
Buckeyes really tough tonight.
They're having just a great competition. Double pike, that's so difficult to do at the end of your routine. It takes an incredible amount of stamina.
If Ohio State can get a first or even second, it would be their best finish since 1989. Lisa Pellegrinetti.
Front handspring, front layout, front tuck. Illinois made some mistakes earlier on on the other events, and they've really come back and done a great job on floor. So that's really a tribute to Bob Starkell's good coaching and the attitudes of those student athletes.
Jana Alexandrova of Iowa, another underclassman for the Buckeyes, sophomore from North Fort Myers, Florida. She is the anchor on the balance beam, ranked 24th in the nation, 7th in the conference.
You can see why she's the anchor. That was an incredibly difficult pass with 2 consecutive layouts. She just nailed it.
Pellegrinetti of Illinois, 9.825 on her floor routine.
She's looking very focused. You see in the background, that's Larissa Libby. She was a 2-time Olympian on the Canadian Olympic team, and she is now one of the assistant coaches for the University of Iowa. She's really been a big part of their turnaround this year. Now that's their handspring full. Nails the landing.
Very
what
nice
a great way to
routine.
finish the balance beam.
John Alexandrova, University of Iowa.
University of Iowa just looks like they're having so much fun out there. It's like they don't realize what's at stake here. They're just doing their thing the way they do it in the gym, and they're having a great time, and it's working.
Well, Mike Lorenzen said we got to have fun, and that's an overused expression, but he means it. He really wants them to enjoy what they're doing, and it's reflected in their scores. Here's Carissa Erickson for the University of Illinois.
That was a really high double pike. Almost looked like she dropped out of the sky.
Interesting to see Alexandrova's score when it comes in. Carissa, a senior from Rolling Meadows, Illinois.
1.5 punch front combination. Double back. So difficult to do that at the end of your routine. She did it very, very well. Illinois, they're a tough team.
Senior Carissa Erickson. Her score 9.750. We'll be back with more as the Illini celebrate. Proud to remind you it's the Keith Olbermann Evening News on Fox Sports Net. The weekly show gives you all the sports news, highlights, analysis, and interviews in a way you've never seen or heard before. The Keith Olbermann Evening News, Sunday at 10 on Fox Sports Net. Mike Lederman, Wendy Wilkerson, here we are. And there's the crowd, and there is Katie Rowland from Penn State by way of up north, Yahoo there in Canada. One of Steve Shepard's many Canadian imports, and she has done an outstanding job, both as a freshman and here in her sophomore season.
She absolutely has. She's ranked #1 in the all-around, and she's come here tonight and proved that she's deserving with 3 solid performances on her first 3 events. Great job by Katie, and she's looking to even finish that on the floor exercise.
Well, the whole team has done well in Penn State, and we talked to Katie about how she figures the Nittany Lions have improved.
We work really hard in the gym, and that's what we try and do in the competition, is just try and transfer what we do in practice over to the meet, and we succeed if we do that.
And she really is a leader by example. She works hard in the gym and does transfer what she does in the gym to the competition floor with her consistency.
Sophomore Katie Rowland, again, very much in contention for the all-around championship. Looking at the standings now with 2 rotations to go, Penn State has a little more than 3/4 of a point lead over Ohio State and Minnesota, followed by Iowa, Michigan State, and Illinois. Of course, Michigan now, you have to watch the Wolverines, of course, that they have one more event than everybody else to complete here in the last 2 rotations.
That's right. These are some great scores by all these teams. Again, it's too hard to know how it's going to all shake out until they've all done the same events. It's hard to compare a performance on the floor to a performance on the beam.
Well, Minnesota and Michigan, 2 of their favorite spots. The vault for the Golden Gophers, the bars for the Wolverines. Ohio State on the beam. Penn State, the floor exercise. Katie McAvoy here of Penn State.
Penn State has some absolutely tremendous floor teams. Their choreography is excellent. Their tumbling is great, and they have a lot of fun out there. This is a good event for them to finish on.
Katie has had a good meet. Sophomore from Winnipeg. Having fun.
And really, if the athletes and the coaches had to pick an order. They would like to go in Olympic order, which is what Penn State did. Vault bars, then beam, and saving the best for last, which was floor. Nice 2.5 punch front. The coaches actually do a draw after the conclusion of each championship to determine the order for the following year. And it's really just picking out of a hat to figure out where you're going to start. You really just hope that you don't draw the balance beam. Double full into a Shushinova.
Katie McAvoy for Penn State.
Good start on that event for Penn State.
And there are her teammates. They know they're very much into this. Minnesota now as we go to the vault. The Golden Gophers, Marianne Kelly.
That was a hand front top with a half. She had great form, a little bit low on the landing, and forced her to take a step. That vault is only out of a 9.9.
There's Marianne's mom, quite a coach in her own right. A 9.80 for Marianne Kelly, and mom likes that.
There she is.
Why not?
You can see the button there.
Karina Senior on the bars for Michigan.
Nice front giant. Healy turn. She missed the bar on the Jaeger. It's really such a small margin for error, and if you're not right on, you're going to take a fall. That's a 5/10 deduction, plus you will not get the bonus for that release move, which is 0.1. So she'll look to make that up. She's 30 seconds to get back on, trying to get a little bit of chalk to stick on the bars, also clear her head.
Opens the door a bit. Meanwhile, Katie McAvoy, a 9.825 for Penn State. And here is her teammate, freshman Rochelle Simpson.
That is a handspring front, double full. I think she is the only one in the competition doing that element. That is an E move, very, very difficult. Comes right back with a double pike, another very difficult move. You can see why she's one of this year's Freshman of the Year nominees, doing a good job out there for Penn State.
I really like what the Nittany Lions have to offer on this event. 5 underclassmen and a senior.
They'll be back.
Simpson, a freshman, 4 sophomores, and Gemma Cup, who will anchor. Front pike, through to a double full. She had a great amount of difficulty in that routine and made it look easy. That's what the judges are looking for. Rochelle Simpson from Penn State. And the race to 197 continues. That was the record-breaking point total Michigan had last year, 197 plus. And it looks like that may fall this year. This is Lee Dixon of the Golden Gophers.
That was a hand front pike with a half. It's worth a 10.0. She had a little bit of leg separation on the horse. The judges are at the side, so we'll wonder if they can see that separation in the legs. If they can see it, they will take a deduction.
Well, it didn't bother him too much. 9.90 for Lee Dixon. Here is Bridget Knadley on the bars for Michigan. Senior, meanwhile, a 9.375. So all the other Wolverines really have to hit. Otherwise, could be a headline here or two.
That's right. Bridget's who you'd want up there. Very
what a landing.
Nails that landing. What a competitor, Bridget Knadley.
Bev Clocky, there she is, calls Bridget her worker bee. Very consistent all 4 years.
It's very rare to see an athlete actually upgrade their difficulty as a senior, and that's exactly what Bridget Knadley has done this year on all of her events.
Rochelle Simpson on the floor, 9.875. Penn State doing well.
These scores across the board continue to be outstanding.
Leslie Bear for Penn State now.
She did take a step out of bounds there, so in addition to the deduction for taking those extra steps, she'll get an additional 1/10 deduction for going out of bounds. double full. You can see the crowd go crazy. Bridget Knavely got a 9.975 on that bar routine, meaning one of the judges actually gave her a 10. Great job for Bridget.
Well, 10s in Michigan on the bars are not that uncommon. We remember all the years that the Wolverines' Nikki Peters dominated that event. But Bridget Knavely certainly upholding the tradition. 9.975.
And another great floor team for Penn State. They are giving it everything they've got out there.
And you look over the Michigan scores, except for senior, we have 9.9s, 9.9s, 9.7, in addition to the 9.975. So the Wolverines know when to pick it up. And there, as we look at Penn State.
Looks like a teammate is giving Katie Rowland a little bit of encouragement there. And often sometimes that's even better than the coaches. Your teammate, they've been in the gym with you every day, and they come up, give you that encouragement. It really means a lot.
Maria Taylor there. Now let's take a look at Elise Ray. Here she is on the uneven bars.
Uprise to handstand, toe on to handstand. Look at her form. Legs right together, toes extended. Nice reverse hack. Straddle back to handstand. Great body line. Giant, giant. Double layout with a full twist. That's an E element. It does not get any tougher than that.
And the roar goes up from the hometown fans. And we'll await the score as Katie Rowland goes on the floor for Penn State.
Nice high double pike. Great landing. Having a little fun there with the teammates.
Scores in for Elise Ray, 9.950. Well, crunch time.
It certainly is, and these athletes are responding. That was a 2.5 twist, very difficult. Did it very, very well. She really is having a great time out there. Teammates encouraging her on as she gets set for her last tumbling pass. Nice front full to front pike and nails it.
Sophomore Katie Rowland for the Nittany Lions.
Give credit to this Penn State team. They traveled a long way. Don't have perhaps as many fans as the other people in the stands, and they're getting the job done.
Now on the beam for Ohio State, this is our first look at freshman Tiffany Janke from Schaumburg, Illinois.
And again, we talked about Ohio State being a little bit inconsistent in the past few years at this championship. This is really going to be critical if they still want to compete today for this title. And she nailed the dismount on that routine. I think Ohio State is showing that those years were yesterday, and they're here today to do a great job.
9.80 for Tiffany Janke, and for Katie Rowland, a 9.90 on the floor. As you look at the final Penn State competitor of the evening, and fittingly it is Gemma Cuff, who came from England 4 years ago and has just done a marvelous job for Steve Shepard and company and the Nittany Lions. Well, she came when they were the Lady Lions.
That's exactly right. And here she is. She's competing with an injury, and she knew that her team could use a strong performance. She didn't go in the all-around, but this is where they could use her, and she's stepping it up.
As a freshman, she tied for third. 10th a year ago.
So swooshing over there. into a front pike. You can see the smile on her face. Great job.
And Gemma Cuff almost certainly will be involved in the regionals, and she hopes the nationals, but that is her effort.
Such a tough position for Penn State. They have now finished the competition, yet there is one rotation after this event, and sometimes it's tougher sitting in the stands waiting to see what the other teams are going to do. It's out of their hands at this point. They did everything they could.
They didn't get cheated. They gave it their best shot here.
They certainly did.
Ohio State's junior Stephanie Burkle. Another athlete coming back from injury and hanging in there.
Handspring 2-foot layout. Very well done.
Junior from Westchester, Pennsylvania.
Showing some flexibility.
Gemma Cuff finished with a flourish, a 9.925 for her floor exercise.
That was well deserved. Great job.
After Burkle, Lindsay Vagatus will finish up for Ohio State.
Full twisting, full jump. It's really great to see Ohio State living up to their potential. They've always had the skills. It's just been a matter of performing them when it counts, and that's what they're doing. Stuff that landing.
Good job for Stephanie Burkle. 9.75 for the Ohio State gymnast. Where do you go for all the latest and greatest information on your favorite Big Ten team or athlete? Well, log on. www.big10.org, the Big Ten website.
You go to the Big Ten website, that you can get the scores updated after each routine, so you can actually see it at home while it's happening.
The crowd from Michigan getting a little edgy, although Michigan's bars effort, with the one exception of the fall, was just that, exceptional. 9.9s. 9.95, 9.7, and that really will put Michigan in a very good position for its least favorite event coming up in the last rotation, that being the balance beam. And on the balance beam right now is Lindsay Vagatus. This is the last competitor for Ohio State here in their effort.
A handspring layout, extremely difficult combination, does it very, very well.
Lindsay won this event 2 years ago, finished 5th a year ago.
She is perhaps the most intense competitor I've ever seen at this championships. Been here for 10 years, and she just is more focused than any athlete I've ever seen. That beam is padded. It sounds like it's really, really hard with the microphone there, but it is slightly padded, which helps a little bit. Round up, double top. What a difficult dismount. That is an E dismount.
Lindsay Vagatus, 9.80. Last rotation coming up. We'll be back. The 2001 Big Ten Women's Gymnastics Championships have been produced by Bart Fox and directed by Jim Corno Jr. Our associate producer, he's always there, always ready to order lunch. He's Jeff Miller, and facilities manager Moheen Ramsey. And the executive producer of Fox Sports Net Chicago is Dan Lafferty. I'm Mike Lederman along with Wendy Wilkinson. While we have a moment, let's thank our folks from Michigan. Well, we'll do that right after the standings. Penn State, Minnesota, Ohio State, Michigan. Wendy, Michigan has got those 3 teams in front of them, and a rotation. You do the math.
Well, it looks like Michigan needs a 48.125 to tie Penn State. Not a very high score, however, they're on the balance beam. If they take a couple falls on the balance beam, that score will become more difficult. So anything can happen on the beam, but that's the score they're shooting for.
As we look at the final rotation, Minnesota, Ohio State, and Penn State all are idle. Illinois on the ball, Michigan State on the bars. But the big 2 still in contention. Michigan, as Wendy mentioned, on the balance beam, and Iowa on the floor. And let us go to the floor. And this is Stephanie Benson, sophomore for Iowa. And now, while we have a moment, do want to thank our folks here at the University of Michigan who've been so helpful to us. Jason Girdham and Regine Dvorak, who helped put this event together, and our guy, Jason Gaiman, on statistics. Thanks to you, and big help you all have been.
They've really done a great job. Michigan hosts events in a first-class manner. Iowa is still looking for some strong performances. Remember, they're the perennial doormat here, and they're looking for a top 3 finish. To end up in the top 3 at the Big Ten Championships is just a tremendous accomplishment, and that's what they're still in contention for here. So they want a really strong performance on the floor exercise.
Well, the Hawkeyes have impressed today, especially with Alexis Madej, and she is very much a factor in the all-around competition as we look here at sophomore from Eagan, Minnesota, Stephanie Benson.
Double full. Little step to the side there. Nice solid routine for Iowa. And congratulated by the coaches.
There's Mike Lorenzen. And here on the ball, Jana Gallagher for Illinois.
A layout, Stu. It's only worth a 9.8, but she did it very, very well, so there won't be very many deductions. This is not one of Illinois' strengths. They only have 2 vaults that are worth a 10.0. However, if they keep doing vaults like that, they're going to score just fine.
9.625 for Jana Gallagher. Now over to the bars. Christina Peterson, sophomore from Michigan State, by way of Saginaw, Michigan.
Fortunately for Michigan State, they started off with those falls on the balance beam, so difficult to recover from. They're trying to forget about the beam and really concentrate on doing a really good job here on the bars. So reverse catch with a slight knee bend as she went over the top of the bar. She'll get a slight deduction for that. Front giant between the bars into a Healy twirl. To the straddle back there, that could have been a little bit higher to handstand, but she keeps moving. Double tuck, nails the landing.
Nice routine for Christina Peterson, sophomore from Michigan State.
Michigan State is not giving up. They are still fighting for every 10.
Corinne Cooper now on the floor for Iowa. Corinne, a junior from Olympia Fields, Illinois.
She has some explosive tumbling. Watch the height she gets in the air. Double pike. Little step on the landing. Again, she chooses to use that mat. It softens the landing a little bit and puts a little bit less pressure on those joints. She's even higher on her jumps. This is great to see for Corinne. In the past, she's always had the tumbling down pat. And now she's really improved her dance, and this is a really solid routine all around.
Her teammate Stephanie Benson coming in with a 9.725.
Nice high straddle jump. Nice front layout to finish. Finishing right in front of her teammates.
Corinne Cooper from suburban Chicago. And the Hawkeyes finishing on the floor. Back to the vault. This is Carissa Erickson for Michigan, for Illinois.
We're expecting her to do a half-half front pike. If that's the vault she does, it will be worth a 10.0. Half-half front pike. Very, very well done. Good for Illinois.
And that finishes the competition for the Illini. Coach Bob Starkell.
That was really an exclamation point for the end of this competition.
And there's Bob. Again, only his second year, and we go to the floor, and Brandy Killian for Iowa.
Front salto into a double pike. Again, Iowa has really increased our difficulty on all the events. That was a really difficult combination there, and it's not something we would have seen Iowa do even as recently as a year ago.
Corinne Cooper, 9.75 for her floor exercise routine.
And comes right back with another double back and nails the landing. Tell you one thing, if people weren't sure if Iowa was for real before this competition, they certainly can be sure now.
Carissa Erickson, 9.80 for her vault.
Cat 1.5, wolf jump into another jump.
The music, of course, from Evita.
Good solid finish with a nice double full.
Well, don't cry for Brandy Killian. Fine routine for the freshman from Lansing, Michigan for the Iowa Hawkeyes. And their coach, Mike Lorenzen, he's got a master's in fine arts. Mike is an amazing guy. He's trained Olympians to be, but he also has degrees in amazing subjects. And you just wonder what he's going to do now besides split the atom and go for the perfect Healy twirl.
Absolutely, he's so talented.
Graduated
so
from the University of Maryland, Phi Beta Kappa, summa cum laude, valedictorian, then went to Yale for a master's. Hey, we graduated cum diploma. To the bars, Christy Linder.
Giant bow into a ginger. Shoot over. A little bit short on the handstand. This is a good event for Michigan State, so they'll really be looking to finish up strong. Giant bow. Double pike. Little hop. Solid performance. I'll take that one.
Christy Linder from Michigan State. Back on the floor now for Iowa. Stephanie Grand, the freshman from Wakanda, Illinois. Her teammate, Brandy Killian, a fine score, 9.875. Christy Linder, by the way, on the uneven bars, 9.775.
That was an interesting leap there. You usually see them do that in the straddle position, and she did it in the front split position. It was an interesting variety. Little Guns N' Roses out there.
Yeah, see, that's your era, right?
Really getting into this routine. Good combination tumbling to finish up the routine. And a dynamic finish.
Stephanie Grand. One more competitor for Iowa, she being Alexis Madej.
Alexis still in contention for the all-around title. Here's Melissa Green on the uneven bars. You can see she has brace on her right arm. She's managing to work through it. Tuck front half, nails the dismount.
Well, we get a look anyway at the senior Melissa Green, who's put in quite a career for the Spartans. Now, key action here. Shannon McKenzie on the beam for Michigan. Finished third a year ago, seventh 2 years ago. And he said Michigan has got to have clean routines to lock up its 9th championship in 10 years. There's one. Melissa Green, by the way, 9.875 on the bars. Bev Flocky gives Shannon McKenzie a big hug.
What a great finish. She is just a great story. She wasn't even planning to do college gymnastics. The judge called Coach Bev Flocky and said, hey, take a look at this kid. She's really great and has turned in outstanding performances week in, week out for the Wolverines.
And here is one exciting newcomer, Alexis Madej. Her final event on the floor. Stephanie Grant, a 9.9. Fine job for her.
Oh, you can't do that skill any better than she just did it.
And she is, just look at her expression. Talk about having fun out there. She's having a blast.
Whip half. Wow, very interesting tumbling pass. And it just combines forward and backwards tumbling in the same pass.
There's going to be a lot of computing going on as to the winner of the all-around.
That's for sure.
Alexis Madej, Lindsay Vagatus, Elise Ray. Shannon McKenzie, a big 9.925 on the beam for Michigan.
Double full right on. What an outstanding athlete.
Alexis Madej finishes her freshman year. Well, no, she'll probably have some more to do in the regionals and maybe the nationals, but what a performance she put on here this evening. The freshman from Iowa, and hugs all around, a lot of glitter, and the best finish for the Hawkeyes in years, no matter where they finish. They have done an outstanding job. Next Big Ten event, softball. Coming your way on Fox Sports Net Monday, May 14th, 7:30 p.m. Then track and field Tuesday, the 22nd, also at 7:30. Check your local listings for airtimes outside Chicago. Those are Fox Sports Net Chicago events that will be seen elsewhere at different times.
Talking about Alexis Madej and the competition that's ahead, it's what Coach Plocky was saying from Michigan yesterday, that everybody's getting better. Even when you feel your team's getting better, the whole bar has been raised, and that's so great for the Big Ten Conference. They can compete now nationally with anybody. And
the score certainly says everything there for Alexis Madej, 9.975. And the floor for Iowa has been an outstanding event for them. 9.8s, 9.9s, 9.725. Now Elise Ray finishing up on the beam for the University of Michigan.
Again,
it's make it, break it, take it time.
Absolutely, and they're really hoping her international experience is going to help her out here. It's very rare to see a freshman in that anchor position, and she is right on.
Michigan has had one fall on this event, and there's two.
There's two. She's gonna finish this routine up strong. It's a very uncharacteristic break for Elise Ray, and again, I know she has that international experience, but this event, it's just different when you have the team competition there, and ending up finishing for your team in the last position is so difficult. Very nice by handspring to quarter turn there.
Well, Shannon McKenzie has put together a 9.925 for Michigan. Missy Peterson, 9.825, 9.875 for Kelly Riles. And Janessa Greco, 9.875. So strong scores, but with two falls.
If she manages to finish up strong here, I think that they still have the potential to be enough. They had a little bit of cushion going into this event, but we won't know until those scores are all added up.
We'll check it all for you. There's Elise Ray finishing. Not happy, but will it be enough for the Wolverines? We'll be back. Check things out. before, for the 9th time in the past 10 years, the University of Michigan, the Big Ten Women's Gymnastics champion, Wendy, and they did it handily.
Yes, they did. Michigan had an outstanding competition today. They earned that championship today. However, the other teams, they all competed just great. They showed that Big Ten Gymnastics can compete with anybody in the country. They're just getting stronger and stronger.
For the 3rd straight year, Penn State finishes 2nd, but the real story, I think, is at the University of Iowa, where even though the team finished 5th, much closer, and they really did turn their program around in just a couple of short years under Mike Lorenzen.
That's right. Mike Lorenzen did an absolutely fantastic job. And if you look at his roster, most of the people performing those routines tonight were newcomers. They're going to be back next year, and they are just going to get better and better.
Let's go to the individual winners tonight. We'll show you all of them. Co-winners on the vault, Chrissy Michaud of Michigan, Stephanie Gran of Iowa. On the bars, Bridget Knabley, the senior, going out in style with a win there. On the beam, another Michigan Wolverine, Shannon McKenzie, the winner, and Alexis Madej. What a meet the freshman had. First on the floor exercise and the all-around champion for 2001.
What an incredible contribution this young lady makes to the University of Iowa. She scored a 9.975 in the floor routine, meaning one judge actually gave her a 10.0. And there's a look at why one of those judges felt she was deserving of a perfect score.
3rd on the vault and the uneven bars, 7th on the balance beam, 1st on the floor exercise. She's your all-around champion. Well, this concludes our coverage of the 2001 Big Ten Women's Gymnastics Championships. For Wendy Wilkinson and our entire Fox Sports Net crew, I'm Mike Lederman saying so long from Ann Arbor. The preceding has been an exclusive presentation of Fox Sports Net. So long, everybody.